They're built the same, look the same, or even have the same old windows to remove. So how can you only have one way to install them? The answer is simple. It's quick and easy. Well, that's not us, and it will never be us. You can have peace of mind that the install we recommend is the one that will last a lifetime. If you want your windows installed only once and done right the first time, then call Abby today. And if somebody asks you if you know a guy in the business, you can say no, but I know a girl.
With crippling inflation, the locally owned Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford has the best Tuesday dining value anywhere. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet is just $9.99. It's all your favorite authentic Mexican food for $9.99. Kids and grandkids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu. Sunday through Thursday, they can safely play in that huge game room while you finish up your all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet. The Mine Shaft is super affordable and very family-friendly. The Wednesday and Friday fish fry is now just $4.99. That's a crazy low price, $4.99. Stop today for the Tuesday all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet for $9.99. Desserts are always buy one, get one free. Come early today. From 2 till 5, cocktails, beers, and appetizers are half price. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mine Shaft. No reservations needed. Just walk on in. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
The all-time winningest manager in Brewers franchise history is gone. I mean, and he's going straight to the rival.
Our Brewers Cubs coverage starts tonight at 6:05 on your home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 10 o'clock, it's 63 degrees. Widespread afternoon showers and thunderstorms in your Storm Team forecast with a high of 66 degrees. Tonight's low down to 52 with those evening storms coming to an end. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Vince Vetrano. Those storms once again this afternoon could be on the strong side. We are caught in quite a pattern here in southeast Wisconsin. Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Isnansky noting several more tornado touchdowns confirmed in our state over the weekend with minimal damage. This afternoon not expected to bring widespread severe weather, but we could pop some severe warnings.
We are stuck in between your basically summer air mass, warm, humid air, and still kind of spring trying to work its way in from the north. We are right in that transition zone, and we've been in it for the last couple weeks.
Isnansky live with us on Wisconsin's Morning News earlier today. Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in 4 minutes. The MPS School Board could cut hundreds of jobs tonight. Superintendent Dr. Keith Posley has said inflation and lack of federal state funding are driving possible cuts, claims despite the $250 million referendum just passed this spring that MPS is facing a $60 million budget shortfall for the coming school year. School board votes at its budget meeting this evening. With the state Supreme Court now leaning left as opposed to right, a legal fight brewing once again over collective bargaining restrictions. This case challenging the Act 10 legislation, unions representing teachers and public workers suing to end Wisconsin's near total ban on collective bargaining for most public employees. The 2011 law led to massive protests and made the state the center of a national fight over union rights. That law has withstood numerous legal challenges before. The Republican-controlled legislature is asking for the case to be dismissed. They're trying again, and this time the group targeting Wisconsin Assembly Speaker Robin Vos says they do have enough legitimate signatures to force a recall election. Group claims to have collected more than 8,000 signatures that they say were gathered primarily door-to-door, and they'll turn them into the Wisconsin Elections Commission this afternoon. In April, the commission voted down a previous recall attempt, saying organizers did not have enough valid signatures to force the election. Attorneys for Vos have alleged fraud against the group. Vos, who is up for re-election again this fall, has called recall efforts a waste of time and resources. And closing arguments are now underway in the New York criminal court in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial. ABC's Aaron Katursky at the courthouse.
Closing arguments in this historic trial follow a week's hiatus. Jurors spent 5 weeks hearing testimony from 22 different witnesses. They spoke about sex and money, but really what the jury will decide is whether former President Trump committed an accounting crime to keep a lewd story from his past from hurting his chances in the 2016 election.
Arguments expected to wrap up today, with the jury expected to begin deliberations tomorrow. Time for news about your money. WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow Jones Industrial Average right now off about 157 points to 38,912. The S&P 500 at 5305. That is up less than a point. And the NASDAQ up about 74 to 16,995. Inflation is not going away. Download your copy of Safeguarding Against Inflation, Strategies for Wealth Preservation at annexwealth.com/inflation. Sports, traffic, weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Music director Ken David Mazur conducts the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and Chorus in Carmina Burana and Carlos Simon's Fate Now Conquers at the Bradley Symphony Center June 7th through the 9th. You don't want to miss this thrilling program, which also showcases the talents of principal trombone Megumi Kanda as soloist in Tandun's Three Muses in Video Game. Call the box office right now to guarantee your seats at 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org. Artistic partner Deshaun Burton is one of a trio of soloists in Orff's famous ode to earthly pleasures, Carmina Burana. No doubt you've heard bits and pieces of it in commercials, TV shows, and films, but there is nothing like experiencing the full might of this piece in person. Visit mso.org for tickets or call 414-291-7605.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers and Cubs again tonight at American Family Field. That was the warm reception for former Brewers manager Craig Counsell, who returned to face the Brewers in Milwaukee for the first time since joining the Cubs. Game didn't go too well for Counsell and the Cubs either.
3-0 pitch. Fly ball deep center. Bellinger back, and it is gone! Home run number 8 for Willie Adames, and he has busted this one wide open.
Adames with a 3-1 blast in the Brewers' 5-run 8th inning. The Brewers take the first of 4 from the Cubs. 5-1 was the final. Counsell talking before the game about his expectations.
Cheer, boo, whatever, man. Just have a good time at the game. You know, that's what fans get to do. So that's just have a good time. It's Memorial Day. You don't have to go to work today. Let's all have a good time.
Brewers and Cubs go again tonight with a 6:40 first pitch from American Family Field right here on 620 WTMJ. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ. Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Looks like they've got this incident cleared. I-43 northbound just past Good Hope Road. There was a crash blocking the right lane, but it looks like the Department of Transportation has just cleared that accident scene. And even traffic on the bypass through the construction zone. Mitchell to the Hale on 894 running okay this hour.
Traffic is sponsored by SB Framing Gallery, Milwaukee's distinctive archival framing.
SB Framing Gallery in the 3rd Ward can enhance and protect your artwork for generations. Framing pieces with archival and distinctive design. Learn more at sbframinggallery.com.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Widespread afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Some could be on the strong to possibly severe side. High of 66 degrees today, low down to 52 tonight with those storms coming to an end. We've got a few days of dry weather, becoming mostly sunny Wednesday, high 63 at the lake, 66 inland. Thursday's high 70 degrees under mostly sunny skies, partly cloudy on Friday, high of 74, a few degrees cooler near the lake. And for your Saturday, slight chance of a shower in the morning and then a high of 72 degrees. 62 degrees in Madison, Green Bay at 61, Waukesha 62, and in Milwaukee 63 degrees. I'm Vince Vitrano, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's time for the Upswing on WTMJ, showcasing businesses, entrepreneurs, and community leaders throughout the great state of Wisconsin. Here's your host, Jeff Sherman.
'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Good morning, Wisconsin. Good morning, Milwaukee. What a weekend. Hope you took time out to reflect and remember and got to spend some quality time with family and friends. 3 quick reflections, if I may, to open up the show. The 27,316 flags that were placed at the War Memorial Center on Milwaukee's lakefront were just stunning and such a beautiful reminder of the price of freedom, of the brave men and women from across Wisconsin who died for our country. 2 other beautiful tributes from the weekend that I want to mention. Bob Uecker's annual Memorial Day reading prior to the first pitch and the big win over the Cubs yesterday. It's a poem that he reads every year called "It Is the Veteran." Look it up. I don't know who the author is, and I think it's a kind of unnamed author, but a quick 30-second reading that he always does on Memorial Day. Just really, really powerful. And then we went to church Sunday, and the entire parish at Old St. Mary's in downtown Milwaukee, everyone sang "God Bless America." Just really, really nice. So speaking of church, lots of big church-related stories in the news lately. Consolidations, new class of priests, creative fundraising and business models, competition from franchise-style church networks, the continued search for a Milwaukee replacement to Archbishop Jerome Listecki, and a whole lot more. So I wanted to get kind of further insight and inspiration on all these stories. Truly, I've just always really been fascinated by how priests, pastors, leaders of all faiths juggle their days and their commitments and their vows and their seemingly kind of never-ending list of business duties. Like they are CFOs, they are CMOs, they are CEOs each and every day, juggling a whole lot. So where do I turn for answers? Well, I turn to my priest, of course, Father Tim Kitsky, who joins us today. I'll let Father Tim introduce himself in a bit, but just a quick story. My wife is Lutheran. I'm Catholic. And when we wanted to get married, it was like 21 years ago or so. We needed to find a church to get married in. And my godmother, who is school sisters of St. Francis, a nun, said, well, you need to meet Father Tim. He'll find a church for you. I'm like, okay. So we met Father Tim, I believe, at the former Mima's on Brady Street. Had some really good pasta, maybe a glass of wine or 2. And we sat down and talked about our differences, talked about our goals, talked about our aspirations, our desires, our dreams, and he welcomed us, right? And I think we've done our best to follow the rules along the way, but it's been really rewarding for me to watch Father Tim grow, to bless our family, and to continue to help our community grow, and so many other families along the way. Father Tim is heading into year 35 as an ordained priest, almost all of them on Milwaukee's east side and right here in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. So today we're going to talk about the unique challenges of urban ministry, recruitment and retention of priests, the business of faith, the next archbishop, and up next, consolidations and collaborations. 2 topics I know Father Tim knows really, really well. This is the Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and carbless, ready-to-drink cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
We find the best way to protect and uphold the reputation of our business is to hire good people and then take care of them. We really do love the people that work for us, and we care about what's in their best interest. And what that means to you is this: who do you really want on your job? Someone who's maybe underpaid or doesn't feel appreciated, might not have paid vacations or great work benefits? Our folks have all of these things and more. Vito and I make sure they feel appreciated, because happy people do happy work. There's a culture we're building here at Semper Fi that brings respect back to a very hard job. And that's why we know that our crews are going to do the kind of work that you expect. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. We're all living longer. That means in all of our families, people are facing Alzheimer's, dementia, and other memory-related issues. Azura specializes in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms. They're Wisconsin-based, 14 in our state, 4 in our area. I've been in their buildings. They're fantastic. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, empathy and compassion at the core. It's Azura.
Welcome back to the Upswing. Joined today by Father Tim Kitsky, rector of Family of 5 parishes, and right here in the heart of downtown Milwaukee oversees Old St. Mary's, the Cathedral of St. John's. Father Tim, thanks for taking time out of your morning. Truly appreciate it.
Hey, Jeff, thanks. It's good to see you again, and obviously always seeing you and Steph and the kids at church. Just glad to be with you this morning in terms of some of the interesting questions you gave me to kind of think about this, because we are at an interesting time in church history. Let's face it, history is just history, always interesting, always a challenge, and there's always change. But on the other hand, what I've discovered over the years of my time here is that change really produces some really great opportunity.
Yeah.
And so now, it started out when I first met you as someone who merged 3 churches, St. Hedwig, St. Rita, Holy Rosary, into 3 Holy Women. That's 25 years ago. And then in 2006, took over Old St. Mary's. 2010, added St. Peter and Paul and Our Lady of Divine Providence, which is the mixture of St. Casimir's and our St. Mary of Chenstohova.
In River West, Milwaukee.
Right.
Yep.
And then just a couple years ago, the Archbishop appointed me as rector of the cathedral. So just basically the way I put it is this, I'm in mergers and acquisitions.
So last week, 3 West Dallas Catholic churches announced they're going to merge into one parish. And, there's rising costs, there's tighter budgets, there's different membership dynamics, of course. Aging buildings, old boilers don't fix themselves and they cost a lot of money. So what are your suggestions and insights for parishes that are going through the collaboration process?
I think, first of all, to remember that things, and though it sometimes appears otherwise, it's not just top-down management. It's not the Archbishop all of a sudden saying, I'm going to close this community. It rises from the community. They looked at their resources, they looked at their population, they looked at the mission, especially like in a place like West Dallas, and they're trying to just bring about a structure that will serve mission. To remember that the church is not just about maintenance, but it's also about mission. You use the cliche that is used very often in my group, but corporations are doing it. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
It's all collaboration. And so basically, if you really want kind of a lean structure, then you realize then you can use the energy, especially in a church setting, use the energy for which is supposed to be doing, which is help people.
Yeah. So you're about a year into your latest assignment as rector at Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist in downtown Milwaukee. How was kind of coming into that new environment? Different people, different part of town, the same kind of spirit you took into it?
Yeah, I've learned, Jeff, I've been here now doing this for 25 years as pastor, and it's really kind of, when you come in, first of all, there's always fear. There's always misgiving. There's the whole fluctuation of what people feel about me. Some people like me. Some people don't like me. When you're perceived to be an agent of change, you're perceived to have an agenda, maybe a secret agenda. There's no secret agenda. But on the other hand, what I've been trying to do at the cathedral now is I have for the family of 5, as we call it, for the past 25 years, is to be a steady North Star point, to point everyone to, for our tradition, to Jesus, but whatever tradition, to point realities that are above and beyond just the fluctuations and the change, and to realize that there's a potential for growth and even happiness, even when things change.
Yeah. Well, how have you kind of married, if you will, the marketing and the fundraising of all different churches? Like, how does that happen from a business standpoint?
Even if you notice, the way I use it is we call ourselves a family of 5. So we have pretty much the priests are the priests for the family of 5. We're the fathers. That's what we call. And just like any good family, we all have different areas that we have to do in terms of parenting.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, there's also one of the great advantages I've discovered is that, like a good family that has a good budget, you can begin to do things wisely in terms of collaboration so that you have shared resources.
Yeah.
So that mission increases because you have more people paying into the pot. And because of that, I can hire really competent lay ecclesial ministers because I think the laity of the church are the future of the church, obviously, and they bring their skills. But then also, if we as a church are true to what we say we are, we got to practice what we preach when it comes to just wages and things like that.
Right. So whether it's West Dallas or Wauwatosa or Madison, like it's not necessarily one building is closing. It's a collaboration and bringing put together the resources and pooling resources to get bigger and better, possibly.
And just as you do in your own family homes and in your own family structures and your own relationships, sometimes you just have to make decisions about property. You have to make decisions about savings. You have to make decisions about cuts, and but basically what you do is, hopefully as a good family, you have the quintessential family meeting. You deal with the people that are going to be affected most by what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. When we come back from the break, I want to talk about recruitment and retention of priests. When did your journey begin? Was it really, really early?
Third grade.
Third grade. Okay.
I had good sisters like your aunt, somebody who just really pushed me in terms of at least asking the question. And then I just always ask the question in the vagaries of a roller coaster of 35 years. It's been a great answer.
Okay. The recruitment and retention of priests and the ever-changing dynamics around parish life. Father Tim Kitsky joins us. This is The Upswing, and we'll be right back after this break.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Carbless Ready-to-Drink Cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
What are we doing today?
One of the employee owners has an idea.
Who is it?
Casey Goodson.
Well, hi, you must be Casey Goodson.
That's me. Casey has been with Kessler's for 22 years and became an owner 12 years ago.
We're excited to hear your idea, Casey.
I call it the One Collection.
But we've had special collections in the past.
What are you saying?
Casey, I think Rick is saying that this can't be the one collection because we've offered special collections in the past.
I'm not saying it's the first collection. It's a special collection of engagement rings for the woman that you know is the one. The one for you. The one forever. What's in it? Incredibly special rings for incredibly special women.
How much?
Most of them are between $725 and $2,800. I like it.
I like it.
Me too.
When you have found the one, you'll find her ring waiting patiently for you to come and pick it up at Kessler's.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
David Nason, host of The Fix-It Show, here with my friend Chris Mancuso, owner of Accurate Basement Repair. Chris, what are some signs of basement problems that need to be addressed?
Hey, David, that's a great question. I would say wall cracks, leaning walls, dark or maybe some discolored stains across the walls. Those are really important things to look at.
As a home inspector, I see this often. Don't wait to call the experts I recommend at Accurate Basement Repair today for your free assessment. They're not just good, they're accurate.
You know this already. Inflation is sticky. You see it on the news. You feel it at the grocery store. It's the involuntary pay cut no one wants and that we can't seem to shake. Annex Wealth Management wants to help. Now is the time to download 7 strategies you can use in an environment with elevated inflation. Learn how real assets can help, which tax-efficient strategies to consider, and one way to increase Social Security benefits. It's a free download and available now. Go to annexwealth.com/inflation.
It's Heiser's amazing sales event. With Mother's Day, Memorial Day, graduations, and more, there's a lot to celebrate this month. Whether you're giving a gift or treating yourself to a vehicle upgrade, our amazing team will help you choose the best option. And to make things even better, you'll receive our exclusive Safe and Sound program, which includes a multitude of benefits. See all offers and details at Heiser.com and let us amaze you today. At Heiser, today's your day.
See dealer for complete details.
Welcome back to the Upswing, the Tuesday edition. Talking about all the church news that's happening right now. Father Tim Kitsky joins us today. Father Tim, how many priests were in your ordination class?
Yeah. 35 years ago, there were 12 of us.
Okay.
We're now down to 4. So, over the years, through circumstance, we've decreased. And actually, one of my classmates is Bishop Hying in Madison, and then the rest of the guys are retired. So Bishop and I are the only one in really active ministry now in terms of running things or helping to serve things. Currently, the class this year was 9. So it's, big classes.
So, on May 18th, 9 men were ordained as priests in the Archdiocese of Milwaukee by the Archbishop. That was the largest ordination class, the largest one in the nation, I
in
believe?
the nations, yeah.
And the largest one since 1992.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem that large. Like, what does that recruitment retention model look like moving forward? And
it's a funny thing, the whole issue of vocation. First of all, we have a great vocation department. We have a great rector of the seminary, whose name is Father Luke Strand, and a great St. Francis de Sales Seminary on the south side is doing a great job. There's a college level. When I entered in, I went in high school seminary. That's no longer. We have some camps now for high schoolers, but really we ask people to be a little bit more mature maybe than I was in terms of making a lifelong commitment. But I think what it is it's also, just as I say, the faith is caught, not taught, a vocation is caught, not taught. You can give the structure as to what but young guys especially are interested if they see good and holy priests trying to do their job. Yeah. And also see them make a difference in terms of the culture and in terms of the world. That there's a great key thing in terms of a lot of younger people is they really want to make a dent in the world. I think sometimes young people get a little bad rap that they're just kind of selfish, self-centered, the self-enclosed reality they live. But I'm seeing, especially in those 9 young guys that were ordained, boy, there's some real passion and power in terms of their commitment to helping others and to make the world a better place.
Yeah. I mean, do you see rules and traditions continuing to evolve and change as we move forward? Whether it's more women, whether it's marriage, whether it's the process change, just to increase the numbers?
That's it. And I think basically the whole point is we don't want to just increase the numbers for the sake of increasing the numbers. What we want to do is let's remember that everything is rooted in the fact that we're all in sales, not production. I work for a greater, my boss is great. I love him. But, he also has a plan. And sometimes we have to remember that it's his plan, not our plans. Yeah. As important as the word strategic plan is for any corporation or any organization, let's remember Jesus didn't say go and form a committee and have a self-study. Mm-hmm. He said go teach, baptize, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So what I think we're doing right now is we're saying, let's look at the situation. I don't know where it's going, but you know what? Things are so totally different from when I was ordained 35 years ago. Mm-hmm. Things are a lot different from when I was in the 3rd grade. Yeah. But that's the way everything is.
That's
everything changes, but at least for us.
It's the way it is in media. It's the way it is in business.
In our dispensation, everything changes, but God doesn't change.
Yeah.
And if he calls us into being, he'll give us whatever we need. Also, we all need to kind of calm down a little bit about the issues, because sometimes we're reacting so to the issues that we miss the persons involved with the issues. Yeah. And that's the important thing for me, is everything has to be relationship and person oriented.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good suggestion for the politics of today as well, right?
Exactly.
So how many weddings, funerals, and baptisms do you do in a typical month?
In a typical month, there's every weekend, there's always one of those realities. And, and in terms of that, I think totally right now we have probably about 100 weddings on the books for the whole next year. Now, just remember, not just me. I have wonderful associate pastors, Father Joseph, Father Carlos. Okay. And these guys are doing great work. And so what we do is, and then obviously funerals come up. Baptisms follow weddings usually, and so. But I would say we're pretty much a large parish with a lot of activity.
Okay, and just in terms of the day to day, and I mentioned it in the opening that how a priest is truly like a CEO, a CFO, and a CMO all at the same time. You're doing outreach, you're doing fund development, you are structuring the business. How do you juggle it all and kind of account for your days and time?
Yeah, I always say that
because I need help.
Can I tell you something? I always say that the success of my priestly ministry is an absolute proof for the existence of God. Because if it were up to me, I'd mix it up. But part of the thing is that what I discover is a phrase that I like using for the parish priesthood is we're coordinators of charisms. I'm coordinating other people's gifts. And my job is just to be kind of, again, that still point in a community, not that people revolve around, but rather is the animator for people to use their own talents and gifts to help the mission. And then to sometimes, like a good father, sometimes say we need to go in this direction or we need to go in this direction. Sometimes there's correction, sometimes there's direction, but also to have the wonderful element of a charism is that when you share it, you can then use the creativity that flows from all those people coming together. So I have a great staff. I have a staff of about 30 right now. My staff is extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, and that's the role of a good CEO, to put people in the right jobs and to curate them based upon their skill set and their experiences, to kind of amplify the good and to follow the corporate mission.
I keep on reminding people there's only one Messiah, and I, in terms of my leadership, also to be humble enough as a leader every once in a while to say, maybe I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And God knows we as a church and members in the church have made mistakes and sometimes terrible mistakes.
Yes.
And we need to move on and we need to make sure mistakes don't happen again. Put all different sorts of structures of safety in place for all the different issues that we face so that we can flourish in terms of the dignity of the human person.
So the search process has begun for a replacement for Archbishop Listecki, who turns 75, mandatory retirement. We will talk about that when we come back from the break with Father Tim Kitsky and look at what specifically is that selection process. WTMJ News Time is 10:30. ABC News and local headlines are coming up next.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Israeli military says the strike in the southern Gaza city of Rafah is being thoroughly and transparently investigated. However, spokesman Daniel Hagari for the IDF doesn't think the blaze that broke out at a refugee camp was the sole reason for so many deaths.
Our ammunition alone could not have ignited a fire of this size. Our investigation seeks to determine what may have caused such a large fire to ignite.
The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry says 50 people were killed and hundreds more hurt in the blaze. Cleanup underway in several states hit by severe weather over the weekend. 22 people in all were killed. Closing arguments are underway in Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial. The jury expected to get the case tomorrow. President Biden's campaign showed up outside the courthouse, sending Robert De Niro and some of the police officers who were at the Capitol January 6th to speak on Biden's behalf. Donald Trump's allies quickly held their own conference immediately afterwards. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:31. Still not charged directly in connection with her son's disappearance, Elijah Vu's mother due in court later this afternoon. The 3-year-old child reported missing end of February in Two Rivers. Police found his blanket, and they have what they are calling a vehicle of interest held in evidence, but Vu has still not been found. Katrina Bauer and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, accused of felony chronic child neglect. Bauer expected in court in Manitowoc County later today. With the state Supreme Court now leaning liberal as opposed to conservative, a legal fight brewing once again over collective bargaining restrictions in Wisconsin. Case challenging the Act 10 legislation. Unions representing teachers and public workers suing to end Wisconsin's near-total ban on collective bargaining for most public employees. The 2011 law led to massive protests at the Capitol that made the state the center of a national fight over union rights. The law has withstood previous legal challenges. The Republican-controlled legislature is asking for the case to be dismissed. And they're trying again. This time, the group targeting Wisconsin Assembly Speaker Robin Vos says they've got enough legitimate signatures to force a recall election. Group claims to have collected more than 8,000 signatures this time. They say they were collected primarily door-to-door, and they're turning them in at the Wisconsin Elections Commission this afternoon. Their previous attempt earlier this year failed, with attorneys for Vos even alleging fraudulent behavior. Vos, who is up for re-election this fall, has called the recall efforts a waste of time and resources. Time for news about your money. WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow Jones Industrial Average still down, off about 140 points to 38,928. The NASDAQ at 5308. That is up 3 points. And that was the S&P 500. And the NASDAQ is up 84 points to 17,005. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Wondering where that was. Now starting to see slowdowns through the construction on the southern bypass, 894 westbound, hitting the brakes at about 27th Street, and then staying slow through about Forest Home. Other than that, your mid-morning drive looking good. It's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Widespread afternoon showers and thunderstorms today with a high of 66 degrees. Tonight, evening storms coming to an end and a low of 52. Wednesday, high of 63 at the lake, 66 degrees inland as we become mostly sunny. Mostly sunny on Thursday, 70 degrees, your high temperature. A little bit cooler near the lake. Partly cloudy on Friday with a high of 74 degrees. Once again, cooler near the lake. And Saturday, just a slight chance of a shower in the morning and a high of 72. In Madison at 63 degrees, Green Bay at 61, 63 in Waukesha, and in Milwaukee, 64 degrees. I'm Vince Vitrano, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1034.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 4.75 to 11.3 ounce selected varieties, Frito-Lay Lays, Doritos, Bean Dip, or Kettle Chips, 2 for $5. 8 to 16.5 ounce selected varieties, Hostess multi-packs, 2 for $6. 14 ounce or 3 to 4 count selected varieties, Haagen-Dazs ice cream or bars, $3.99. 4 to 6 count selected varieties, Dannon multi-pack yogurt, 2 for $7.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take them out at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 24th.
There's a part in church where the priest says, "Peace be with you," and for many, many years we all said, "Very good." But they changed it to "and with your spirit," because that's what needed revamping in the Catholic Church.
Yes. Change is never easy. Is it, Father Tim?
Oh, gosh, no. But you know what? I think the attitude we take towards change is going to determine how the change comes out. You know, because we're obviously the people that are part of it. You know, I also think there are very serious things, and I'm not trying to downplay the seriousness of life right now.
Right.
But I also think we need to discover a certain amount of give and take that will lead to a certain more lightness of being.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm sure each and every day, whether it's after a service or you're on a plane and someone asks you questions, like people come up to you with ideas and ask, why is it this way?
Mm-hmm.
How come you do this? What is this with the dogma? Do you just listen and take it all in, or what is that process?
I just preached about that this weekend. You know, sometimes when I fly commercially, if I wear a Roman collar on the flight, depending on the number of scotches that are flowing for the person who's sitting next to me, you know, they want to go to confession, or they want to complain about how they've been hurt by the church, or individuals in the church, or they want some clarification dogma that usually is a misinterpretation of what the church teaches. And you're all supposed to do it within the 2-hour flight.
Yeah.
And so I try to be gentle and kind.
Yeah.
But also I always try to get to the fact that something that's bothering somebody, there's something probably much more complex going on as to why it's bothering them so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I try to do is, again, a person-centered, relationship-centered thing. I think that what the church also, what we in the church, especially in leadership in the church, but leadership anywhere, we need more kindness.
Yeah.
Period. We need more kindness. We don't need the accusations. We don't need the throwing of barbs. And we don't need to so dig into our own positions that we fail to realize that maybe our opponents might have some points.
Yes, yes. We can agree to disagree.
Exactly.
Without a doubt.
I think that to rediscover civility, which is part of our national gift, I think, which has sometimes been stretched a little thin.
Yeah. So as part of your job and opportunity and role as Episcopal vicar for urban ministry, how have you seen the challenges and solutions there? And just explain to us what that role entails.
Why the Archbishop appointed me Episcopal vicar is that he wanted, Archbishop Stuckey really wanted to send out the message that whatever we do, that issues of justice and peace, also issues in terms of the poor and in terms of the issues that come from the things that are happening in our city in terms of violence and racism and crime are important to the church. And so usually what I stand for or what I represent is to always make sure that parishes know that should always be part of how they make decisions and how they articulate the message of the gospel. Mm-hmm. Because the message of the gospel has to be pertinent to people's real lives.
Yeah.
As nice as living in a monastery is and living the monastic mystical life, the fact is we are planted right where we are and our feet on the ground, at least in the city. And so what I try to do is also help parishes to realize that we all have a responsibility for each other. So I'm right now helping to administrate the 4 parishes that are in the central city because they're important to our mission. So St. Michael, St. Rose, All Saints, St. Martin de Porres, they're so important in terms of the diversity they represent, but also in terms of the issues of justice and peace that they sometimes have to, in a very real way, struggle in ways that maybe some of us don't. Okay. So I'm always constantly, the way I put it is this, I'm not the quarterback. Right. I'm kind of the cheerleader. Right. I'm just trying to say, everyone, let's keep these issues alive and let's get together and also then be the empowerer, pardon the cliche, of a system in which we can all have our opinions known. But again, getting back to what I just said before, keeping it within the perspective always of truth, but truth and charity.
Yes. All right. When we come back from the break, I do want to get to the selection process for Archbishop, see if you have a ballot or you have a vote in this. And then we'll talk about balancing faith in a secular community, look at some of the issues and opportunities on Brady Street. This is The Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, with a tip for today's home shoppers. You already know inventory is low and both competition and home prices are high. That's probably why you should not go with your bank or your real estate agent's mortgage pal for your pre-approval. You see, the banks have lots of branches, fancy headquarters, vice presidents and assistant vice presidents, and the loan officers who get referrals from real estate agents, they're typically very highly paid. Who do you think pays for all that extra expense? Turns out it's you. High overhead and high compensation naturally translate into higher closing costs. At Accunet, our extreme efficiency and low overhead mean your closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks and other lenders for exactly the same rate. Don't light your hard-earned money on fire. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval today by clicking on the blue button and put the money you'll save in closing costs towards something for your new home. That's ACCUNET.com.
Is your IRS tax debt making you feel anxious? The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to negotiate your fresh start. Call them now at 800-230-5174.
Are you in need of expert exterior renovations? Look no further than Ridgetop Exteriors. For over 22 years, we've been the trusted name in roofing, siding, windows, doors, and gutter replacements. With a track record of excellence on our Google reviews, we take pride in transforming houses into dream homes. Visit us today at ridgetopexteriors.com for a free consultation. That's ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, your trusted local affordable partners.
With crippling inflation, the locally owned Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford has the best Tuesday dining value anywhere. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet is just $9.99. It's all your favorite authentic Mexican food for $9.99. Kids and grandkids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu. Sunday through Thursday, they can safely play in that huge game room while you finish up your all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet. The Mine Shaft is super affordable and very family friendly. The Wednesday and Friday fish fry is now just $4.99. That's a crazy low price, $4.99. Stop today for the Tuesday all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet for $9.99. Desserts are always buy one, get one free. Come early today. From 2 till 5, cocktails, beers, and appetizers are half price. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mine Shaft. No reservations needed. Just walk on in. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
St. Vincent de Paul at 76th and Bradley Road is having our grand opening celebration this Father's Day weekend, June 13th through the 15th. Doors open at 9 a.m. and everything's on sale, 20% off. There'll be some great food trucks, cool giveaways, and it's a great chance for thrifters to see a whole new store's worth of inventory and bargains. 76th and Bradley in Milwaukee. Don't miss our grand opening sale, June 13th through the 15th.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Welcome back to the Upswing. Father Tim Kitsky joins us today. Father Tim, the Archbishop, has announced his mandatory retirement at age 75. What does the selection process look like? Do you have a vote?
No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. There is consultation.
Okay.
The Pope's representative of the United States is called the Apostolic Nuncio, who's Cardinal Christophe Pierre. And so he's in Washington. So he's begun, I'm sure, a process in which he consults. Obviously, the Archbishop will have something to say. The Bishops' Conference has something to say. It's a small kind of rarefied community, but they also do try to consult across the board to see in terms of producing, the names of people who might fit into what is needed in terms of the mission.
Yeah. So. And is there a time frame on that?
No.
Or is it just kind of until they find the right
What
individual?
happens is that the Archbishop has submitted, as canon law would require him, his letter of resignation, and then he is called nunc et pro tunc. It's now and until then. So he's still in charge. He's still administratively running this archdiocese, and he's our pastor.
Okay.
Until the Pope makes an appointment. When it comes, basically, is they look at the mix of the country. There's a lot of archbishops and bishops that are retiring this next year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like any big organization. It goes maybe at snail's pace, but the important thing to remember is that the archbishop is still our pastor.
Do you think before he retires that he'll give you another parish or two?
No, I always tease. I love Archbishop, but I always laugh because every time I see his number on my caller ID, I think, oh God, I'm getting another parish. So no, I love the challenge at this stage of my life, 65. I kind of like the challenge of where I'm at as a pastor.
Yeah.
I love being a pastor, and it's just great.
So you're not just going to get bumped up to Archbishop. You can't just do that on your own.
If you hear that's happened, come to the cathedral because then you're going to see Jesus saying it's done. So I know I don't have ambitions for that, but you know what? I just really I love the fact that again we are a hierarchical church, obviously, but it's not top-down management. I really believe what Vatican Council II has shown us and reminded us of all the way back to the time of Jesus. It's always the people that come together that really animate the spirit where Jesus wants his church to go.
Yeah.
And so obviously you have to pick leadership that's in charge of that because it's not just dictatorial, and it's not just managerial. It's spirit-filled in terms of trying to bring about the mission of charity and truth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We've talked a lot about kind of traffic calming and urban renewal and neighborhood improvement. One of your parishes, St. Hedwig, is on Brady Street, and they've looked at different ways of traffic calming and even considered closing down a part of the street. Is that something you're involved in, and what would that impact the parish, or would it just make for a better community overall?
To be honest with you, I've kind of kept track of it. In fact, I always let the neighborhood use St. Hedwig's Church as a place to meet because it's what kind of the ancient kind of cathedral was, where the intersection of culture and church would always be, and politics. Yeah. Even though we're apolitical, we're not political. At least some of the discussions that were part of that. So I was there. You know what? It's the kind of thing where I kind of have both and thinking about that. Mm-hmm. I think that right now, I think what we should do is we should try things, but also be open to the fact that things can change if it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And to have a neighborhood group and to have a group of people saying, this might be good now, let's try it out. And if it doesn't work, we'll have civil, good conversations, as good Americans should do, in terms of then trying something different.
Yeah. Very good. All right. When we come back for our final segment with Father Tim Kitsky, I want to talk a little bit about politics and food and feeding the hungry, because that's a big, important mission that we should all be involved in. This is the Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
I-94, eastbound. A semi just came to a screeching stop in the center lane. I think he's broken down right there.
Call me, Debbie Loziga, at the Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
On southbound I-94, right around Drexel Avenue, there's a wreck in the left lane, and the left lane is blocked.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it? Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
You can't buy caviar for the same price as candy. But right now, you can buy the highest-end Beauty Rest Black and Tempur-Pedic mattresses for nowhere near their highest-end prices. Hasseless Mattress is clearing out a handful of premium floor models, like the Split King Tempur-Pedic Luxe Breeze in soft or firm. Was $10,198, now just $25,448. Only a few remain, and they will sell out. Find a self-service, employee-free showroom near you at Hasselist.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scafidi. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate, and for every 2 windows you buy, get the next 2 free. Plus a free upgrade to triple pane glass, and they'll double your energy tax credit. Restrictions apply. Just like me, you'll be saying,
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
I'll say it again. Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. And what that means is wherever we go, we make it better for those in need of our services and the great people we have working with us. Our reputation matters. It matters to us, and it should matter to you. We believe that operating with integrity will set us apart from our competitors, and that this attracts people to us that share these same values. I say this because I want you to know when you work with Semper Fi, character counts. It's why you can count on the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty that now includes free annual inspections. And it's why we always have one project manager per job, which is absolutely not the industry standard. When you're paying for a brand new roof to go on what's likely the biggest investment you have, you want it done right, and you want to be able to count on the people doing it. This is Brad Younglith with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome back to the Upswing. Thankful today to be able to go through a myriad of church headlines with Father Tim Kitsky. Father Tim, how do you, I'm guessing that occasionally you have pressure to advocate for one political party or one view or even a certain political candidate. How do you handle that within the walls of the church?
Jeff, if there's anything I can use the word strict in my life, it's that.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a strict separation between church and state.
Yeah.
And it's real important because people sometimes also confuse strong opinions about issues with endorsement of individuals who are advocating for that. I just think it's very important to keep names of parties, names of candidates, and to keep on talking about what is the church teaching about some of the issues that are present, rather than anybody's advocating for anyone, because there has to be that strictness. Because, again, I look out of my typical Sunday congregation, and according to 50-50 in terms of partisan. I do preach against, though, any sort of mean partisanship.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for all political realities to realize that it's very good have a platform, a sense of which direction they want to lead in terms of their leadership, but also to realize, as I mentioned in the last segment, that what's missing right now across the board, regardless of which political leaning is, there just seems to be a real lack of civility.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the church now should be speaking about how it's possible to have dialogue, what I call both and dialogue instead of either or dialogue, when I realize that there has to be the presumption of some goodwill, even with people that are on the opposite side of the aisle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if I would go up there and try to preach my own politics, then I enter into the very fray I'm trying to be a prophetic voice in.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you work to, both at the cathedral and the other parishes, how do you work to address food insecurity
Jeff,
in the community?
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's dear to my heart. Again, our teaching is this, is to love the poor is to love Christ. And so what we're trying to do is to work on not only food insecurity in terms of feeding people. That's just the start.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing then is to realize what are the issues behind why there are hungry people in the first place. Yeah. Issues of justice, issues of peace, issues of inclusion, all those different things. So what we do, we also have to realize that a lot of times, for example, at the Open Door Cafe, when we deal with a lot of homelessness, we also have to deal with employment. We have to deal with mental health issues. We have to deal with addiction issues. Let's go behind the reality, because charity is good. Don't get me wrong, and please continue to be charitable.
Right.
But again, we don't want to be just an enabling, empowering kind of reality where we look really good giving, but we're not really doing anything for the long run in terms of moving the needle about the issues as to why the giving was necessary in the first place.
Yeah. So the Open Door Cafe downtown serves grab-and-go sandwich lunches. Sunday
well, now we have hot meals now.
Hot meals
I
now,
hired,
too.
One of the things that we took over when I took over as rector and as pastor there, thank God we have a great staff person, Idalia Nieves, who's wonderful in terms of really getting some people involved. So we have now a warm meal being served there 4 days a week.
Okay.
In addition to the grab and go.
Okay.
And also what I want to do is bring people in to see that something like that, something like Kinship Community Food, something like Father Gene's Help Center on the south side with clothing, it's mission territory. You know, a lot of times, especially with our youth groups or something, they want to go to some far reach way down south. I said, you just come to the city of Milwaukee downtown. We got plenty of mission activity. And it's mission territory, and it's just ripe with the fact that people need to be loved.
Yeah, and it's a way for people to plug in and to give back and to volunteer and to be part of the solution.
And it's interesting because it's, as Kinship uses, that hunger and lack of clothing or lack of jobs or lack of mental health or addictions are all entrance points for relationship, in which then we can realize it's not an us-them, it's only an us. Yeah. And the fact is that people that struggle most amongst us, they're part of the family.
Yeah.
And we all gotta lift each other up, and we gotta work hard, just as we would with family members come to help. That's what we do. But it's interesting because the more you help, you start to change.
Yes.
And once you start to change, oh my gosh, that's the miracle.
And that's good for any CEO or political candidate or anyone listening.
If anyone wants to come down, I will definitely, and again, I'm in sales, not production, your life will be changed only because I'll put you in connection with realities that are going to change your heart.
All right, very good. I appreciate you taking time to spend the morning with us, Father Tim Kitsky. Finally, we got about 15 seconds. Define success.
Success, Jeff, success is tied to happiness. If you're happy, you're successful.
All right.
If you're happy, you're successful, because if you're happy, you'll do a good job at whatever you do. Whatever it is, it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it.
Very good. Let's all have a happy, productive, successful week. This is the Upswing, Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty. It's coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president